Hey everyone, insight number 2. So we're in Genesis 44, 32 to 34 for this one. Now this shows Judah's mighty change of character. So basically, Joseph said to them, all right, you get to go, but you need to bring Benjamin back. Jacob did not want to let Benjamin go because he'd already lost Joseph. He believed Joseph to be dead. And Judah says, don't worry, I'm going to look after him. I will protect him with my life because we desperately need food. We have to go, and this is the way we need to get it. This man that we're going to, because they don't know it's Joseph yet, this man that we're going to, this, he had a title, I can't remember what it was, but he wants this younger brother to come. And I think because Joseph really wanted to know his little brother, his mum had passed away, he knew that. And this is his full-blood brother, and he wanted to know him. He did not know him. At the time he left, Benjamin was not yet born. So, right? He wanted to know him. So you can see that. Now, they also brought back the money that they had in the first place. Like, they had so much now. And he did it again to them. We talked about that in the last one. Where whatever we bring to Christ, and this is where whatever they brought to Joseph, he not only gave them the food they needed, he also gave them more money. Now in this instance, for Benjamin, he put in a silver cup, like an extra gift to his brother. Because he just loved him so much. And then they get stopped. Or they stop, and he sends the guard and stop because he wants them to come back. He wants to talk to them more about this. This is Joseph's way of, again, testing how they're going to be before he says, I am Joseph. Because he's had this horrible experience with them. And I would do the same thing. You test people out again, right? How are they going to treat me? Are they going to try and kill me again? Because there's a lot of them, and they're probably pretty strong and burly. So, test them out a bit. So they come back because Benjamin's got this extra cup, and they're like, oh my gosh, they've stolen it. And Judah at this point steps up and says, no, don't hurt him. It's not his fault. He didn't do anything. I will take his place. And this really shows Judah's change of character because he was so ready to disregard family. When he wanted to get rid of Tamar, he wasn't interested. He'd lost 2 sons. He's just like, nah, I don't want you. And then that whole thing unfolded. And he realized that he was being unrighteous in the way he was treating his family. It was a mighty change of character and heart for him. So we really see the proof of this and the evidence of it in these verses in this particular chapter. But we're just going to look at, I said 32 to 34. So let's read that. He says, for thy servant became a surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. So he's saying, like, if I come back, or they go back without Benjamin, I'm going to bear the blame of that forever, and I don't want that to happen. I promised my father I would keep him safe. So in 33, now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad. So he's like, take me instead, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. So he's like, keep me, I will be your servant, and let him go. Now, Judah's got a family at home, and he's still like, no, I don't want my brother, I cannot do this to my father. So he's realizing the importance of this. Like, he knows his family at home will be safe and looked after, but he needs to keep Benjamin safe. And in 34, for how shall I go up to my father and the lad not be with me? Like, how can I go back and break this promise to my dad? I can't do it. Lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father, knowing what it would do to his dad. And this is such a change of character for Judah. So, remember back in chapter 38, verse 26, Judah sees how badly he's been treating his family, and he has that mighty change of heart. That's the one about Tamar, where he says, I realized Tamar was more righteous than I. And has a realization of how much better he can do. So this reaction here shows Joseph that Judah has indeed changed and made great efforts to be the man and brother God wants him to be. And I think also the brother that Joseph wanted him to be. Especially in protecting Benjamin. And I think that's lovely. So, anyway, it's so much easier to forgive when you see real change in the offending parties. Don't you find that true? Like, we are to forgive everyone. That's our mandate as Latter-day Saints, or Christians indeed, to forgive everyone. It is required of us to forgive everyone. It doesn't mean that we have to be their best friend. It doesn't mean that we even have to be around them anymore. It doesn't mean, like, if it's toxic and bad for you, then don't. But we still need to forgive for our own selves. But it's so much easier to do that when we can see a genuine effort to change from them. And indeed, even easier again if we see them enacting that change. There are people that go around burning bridges and continue to hurt people. Now, we still love them. We have two. Dave and I have two in our family that continue to do this. And there's probably some more on the rise. They're still younger. But they will continue to do this. Burn bridges, cause problems. We still love them. But we love them so much that we have to put boundaries in there for their own safety. So, to limit the sin that could come from their behavior and the way they treat their family, they're not allowed at our home. So that they can't bring that into our home. Does that make sense? And that sounds harsh. However, it's been a necessary boundary to put in place. And we forgive them because we know there are problems there. But it is so much easier to welcome you back in when we can see genuine change in character. And that is so true. All right. Sister Mary Ellen Edmonds. Now, she was released this lady like a million years ago, I think. But I just love this. She said, a mighty change of heart includes a mighty change of thinking. And that's exactly what happened to Judah. He had a mighty change of heart, but he also had a mighty change of thinking. Because his whole behavior around how he was with his family, the protection he now had, and the honor that he now gave to his dad, and saying, I'm not going to do this to Jacob, his father. I'm not going to do this to my dad. I cannot do this. Whereas past Judah would have gone, whatever, I don't care. I'm paraphrasing, just from, what we know, right? So this is pretty cool. This is the evidence that Judah really did change who he was. So, think of that when you're forgiving someone, and that, Joseph's testing him out. Remember, Judah had really changed. So if you're seeking forgiveness from someone, maybe you need to show how you've really changed. And if you were at fault, have a look at it. Reassess that. Just look at it and think how you could be better. They might not ever forgive you, but you can still be better. We all can. All of us. All right. That's what we can learn from that anyway. So we're going to skip over to 45 soon, so I'll see you there, peeps.